Perthshire lies at the heart of Scotland. It's a place of mountains, rivers, and it has an outstanding woodland heritage. It's known as Big Tree Country. It's also home to an exciting sustainable tourism initiative.
We can all use ideas from each other.
It's also good to have the reinforcement of what you are doing properly.
More and more people are getting involved and there's more and more ideas coming up.
5 leading resorts are sharing business information to collectively help reduce their environmental impact and create cleaner, greener places for visitors and local people alike.
But it's about getting that trigger that sets you off on a thinking process.
And they really want to hear about the little things as well as the big things.
We have a responsibility to make sure that the environment is still there for generations to come.
We're on a green journey.
This is their story. The River Tay is a powerful presence which helps nurture the forests surrounding the Hilton Dunkeld.
We've got a fantastic array of trees on the estate here, 280 acres. We do a lot with the Big Tree Country, an iconic tree project.
A lot of guests love it now because they can walk down to the village through the forest.
Dougie out in the grounds, he looks after them all. We do a lot of the recycling of that usage with the wood in terms of making benches and all kinds of things. And he thinks of that at the forefront of everything he does.
We recycle made our own polytunnel. There's everything on it is recycled. Even the wood for making the door is scavenged out of a bonfire.
In terms of the corporate side, we have Lightstay, which is our energy management programme, where we track our utilities, where it comes from waste, water, electricity, and we put that against how many covers we're serving in the restaurants, all kinds of things, occupancy, and we use that to track our energy consumption and then hopefully see a decrease over the months. We spend £30,000 a month here in utility bills. If we can pull that back by 5%, it's a decent chunk of money.
The Hilton Dunkeld is also working closely with the local community.
There's 8 acres of land and we hope to grow vegetables at first for the community. It'll be an educational thing. We want children to know where their food comes from.
By giving him the support of our equipment, of our people, our facilities here at the hotel where they hold their meetings, where previously we were paying for venues.
It's just a wonderful thing that's happening at the right time. Sustainability is the future.
Making sure everybody else enjoys it, that's enjoyment most of all. It makes enjoyment for us to work here and looking after it.
But really it's a bit of an investment into the future and to show the local community that we're here to help and we're here to do what we can.
At Atholl Hotel and Country Estate, free-range hens, Perthshire breakfasts and a dynamic kitchen lie at the heart of their business.
We get our eggs from Gleneagles, which is just down the road. We get our bacon, our sausage, our black pudding, haggis. That comes from Simon Howie, who is literally just across the hill.
We were one of the first hotel companies to actually just put our full weight behind the Perthshire breakfast.
And as a chef, there's more pride in everything if it's local.
It involves sourcing 50% of the items in the Perthshire breakfast from local suppliers. It just makes sense that when you're in such an area with abundance of good suppliers that we use local food.
Perthshire is the best larder food, I would say, in Britain. It's sustainable.
It's good to work with Ryan the chef, as it's only the 3rd year we've been doing it and we're still trying to narrow down which are the things that I can grow most efficiently and he can put to most use. For instance, there's been the problems over in Northern Africa just now, so the cost of spring onions have increased greatly. So this year it was great that I could produce spring onions. Next year it could be something else.
Start of the season, we sit down with Willie, we discuss what we want to grow, and if we can grow it, we'll grow it. I mean, there's no point of getting asparagus from Peru when you can get asparagus from the greenhouse down the hill.
A long-term approach to minimising costs is also being undertaken with high-tech, energy-efficient lighting.
With support from the Carbon Trust, at Duckley we've started turning off the lights, making staff aware, putting things on dimmers, and we've also started a massive programme changing our dichroics to LED lighting. So we'll be spending around about £10,000 over the next year changing all the lighting. By changing the lights in all the lodges at Duckley, we hope to achieve a £20,000 saving per year.
It also benefits me a lot as well because I'm doing an Open University degree at the minute, and the block that I'm doing just now is the environment. I'm involved in it in all of my life.
It stands from the top. Graham's on board, chef's on board, and if they're on board, everyone's happy.
I'm always optimistic. We work in a lovely area, blessed to be in Perthshire, big tree country, beautiful resorts. If businesses use the Green Initiative to reduce costs, it'll help them ride out the recession.
Surrounded by mountains and beautiful countryside, the Atholl Palace Hotel at Perthshire'S taps directly into its many natural resources.
Having our own water supply with meters on it has given us an exact handle on how much water we're using. That's giving us a saving in the hotel at the moment of £15,000–20,000 a year, which is very significant.
The Perthshire Green Resorts meetings help as well. I mean, we meet every few months and all sort of get together and chat about what we've been doing and pick up ideas off each other as well.
That's lovely, thank you, thank you.
Getting these 5 resorts working together, actually people have been very open, very honest and want to share what they've achieved and be quite open and honest about learning from others, and the individuals and the personalities involved have been key to that.
If it hadn't been for the Perthshire Green Resorts, I don't honestly think we would have been as successful as we were.
Businesses in the scheme can save around about 20% of their running costs through joining, through going through the framework, going through the checklist, and all of that is really crucial in order to keep their own business sustainable.
The Atholl Palace has also developed special green hideaway spaces for their guests to relax in.
The garden is a very, very peaceful place to be. There already was some of the original fan trade and fruit trees on the wall, and some of them are still there and still producing Victoria plums, and there's one apple tree that's still very productive. They've been there since 1880. The iconic tree project gives the guests another project to wander around the grounds, look at and learn about and enjoy.
Scottish Natural Heritage and the Forestry Commission do use us quite a lot for meetings, and they commented on us going from sort of bronze to gold, and you know, they were really pleased. You know, you need to be seen to be green, and we are.
Famed for its world-class golf and award-winning cuisine, the Gleneagles Hotel needs little introduction. What's less well known is its diverse approach to the green tourism business scheme. On its greens, for example, cores of rich soil are removed and recycled.
We can compost that down, or we can utilise it in some construction works when we're finishing off areas. We can dress off the bankings and regenerate the grass coming through that way.
We looked at energy management, waste management, our suppliers and how we manage our suppliers and what they actually deliver into the business, our guests, and most importantly our team members as well.
The main aim is to reduce your carbon footprint, and anything we can do to safeguard the future and that for other people has obviously got to be a great thing.
And they all interlink to each other as to how they can actually help to improve us to move forward on our journey.
Well, at the back of house, obviously there's a huge drive now to recycle as much as we can. Great suppliers that we have as well, with our fruit and veg, our meat and our fish, they're on board as well, so we're reducing the amount of cardboard, they're sending in other containers which they're taking back and so on and so forth.
Savings are a priority at all the resorts, and at Gleneagles, many green innovations have been put in place.
Recently we've introduced an iNature cleaning system, and basically you use that one container to clean the whole of the bedroom, the bathroom.
So at that level we're sort of looking at what is on the market in terms of new technology, what we can do to drive down the cost.
The biomass boiler, it burns wood chip which is sourced locally. It's cut, shredded and delivered within a 5-mile radius of the hotel. At the moment, on average throughout the year, it produces 50 to 60% of our energy use, which is more than half our oil usage.
From clients that want to come visit your place, you want to make sure that you've got good environmental credentials, so it is very important for business.
Any business who decides not to be sustainable and not even look at sustainability will not survive. They will not be sustainable themselves.
When the Crieff Hydro merged an ancient skill with science and microchip technology, it reduced its carbon footprint in an unconventional and innovative manner.
Crieff is built on 6 wells. But the hydro itself has had a well, its first well is over 30 years old. We decided to look for a second well, and we used the services of a water diviner to try and help to identify where the best position would be. It saves us an enormous amount of money and do that, but it's a fantastic resource and we get water every day.
The CHP is basically an engine that's been converted to run on gas, and it powers an alternator, so it gives us electricity back into our systems. It saves us buying from the grid, and also on the back end of that, the waste product from the engine is heat. We use that to heat the hot water, so we use less heat for the boilers as well. It's saving us about £2,500 a month on electricity costs.
But it's not all about engineering and computer data. Other practical and effective measures have also been put in place.
We've actually managed to do a welcome pack, which is 100% Perthshire local produce, which is really great. And all that started from a little nugget that I passed on to one of the members of the green team, who then passed it on to another. You start with something small, but you pass it to the right person, and it then grows.
My first aim was to get a wheelie bin put outside each unit, because there was so much recycling, you know, because with the guests, you know, having their plastic bottles, their cans, their paper, glass. So then we looked at getting the recycling nodes put in, and we've got two. We've got one on the lower end of the estate and one at the top end of the estate.
Everyone's looking to save the planet and reduce your carbon footprint and reduce utility costs and reduce the costs of the business.
I think it's the passion from the people that actually drive it forward.
It all rolls hand in hand, so it will continue and it will grow.
As businesses all around the world become more aware of their impact on the environment, Perthshire'S green resorts are already leading the way.
They're taking on board world-class businesses, working together on a world-class scheme, the Green Tourism Business Scheme, and actually all benefiting from that mutual networking.
And it's given us a different way of looking at the business. I look at the environment now a lot different than I used to.
It's been great. Great for me personally, but great for the hotel.
And their experience shows that green business makes sense for profitability, visitors, local communities and destinations.
It will grow, and it will also provide a pilot project, if you like, for other places to take up and to take forward in their way.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation for everybody.
It's just a wonderful thing that's happening at the right time. Sustainability is the future.